What is going on YouTube? This is Derek Halsoon bringing you another video yet again, and this time is going to be my first episode in the Weapon Mastery series. In this series we break down all of the weapons in great detail, not just their general superficial stats and stuff you already know, but also some hidden quirks about the weapon that you may or may not have realized to give you the best tools possible for success. And today's episode is going to be on the R99, everyone's favorite SMG, so sit back, grab the Coke Zero, and enjoy. If you've been playing this game for any length of time, you'll know how powerful the R99 is. It's the quintessential low damage hybrid fire submachine gun that is popular with casual and professional gamers alike. Keep in mind that all of the recording was done in the middle of Season 5, and all of this is potentially subject to change in an incoming patch in the future. But I will list the changes in the comment section below. So starting off with everyone's favorite stat, it's going to be damage. And the R99 deals 11 base damage to normal targets such as Bangalore and Bloodhound, does 9 damage to fortified targets such as Caustic and Gibraltar, and does 12 damage to low profile targets such as Watson, Lifeline, and Wraith. Like all the other submachine guns in the game, the R99 has pretty standard multipliers in terms of where you shoot the body. You're to get 1.5x damage to the head, 1x damage to the body, and only 0.75 damage to the legs. Keep in mind that these multipliers only apply to normal and fortified characters. Per the mid-season 4 patch, low profile characters do not have a leg multiplier, they only have a head and body multiplier. And that is one of the reasons why if you're playing Lifeline or Wraith or Watson and you feel like you're just getting straight up beaten, this is definitely playing into the reason why, especially given how much more damage you take compared to a fortified character, with R99 in particular. But one thing some of you may not have realized is that certain weapon classes such as certain pistols, and submachine guns have a limitation at which they can start doing headshot multiplier damage. In this case, for submachine guns, it's going to be 37.5 meters, and the R99 is definitely no exception to this. So as you can see in this clip here, after 37.5 meters, you can no longer benefit from the headshot multiplier, and you're better off just going for body shots because everything is going to either count as a body or leg shot. Moving on to rate of fire, the R99 is the best in class and in the game at a blistering 1080 rounds per minute, or 18 shots per second. This extremely high rate of fire combined with its modest damage gives it one of the best damage per seconds in the game. At 198, 216, and 162 to normal, low profile, and fortified targets respectively. Just to put this into perspective, I will do this for all the guns, but your time to kill a Gibraltar with a maxed out Evo shield and his gun shield is going to be theoretically 1.6 seconds, and Wraith with an Evo shield is going to be killed in just 1 second with R99. And I say theoretical because you actually, despite having a level 3 magazine on the R99, you can't possibly kill a Gibraltar with 1 magazine if he has his gun shield up, and he has a max Evo shield. Obviously, if you get headshots, this is going to be a different story, but we're not talking about headshots. Okay, so moving on to the next major part of the video, which is going to be the recoil control of the weapon. You're going to see a video on the right hand side of the screen right now, and that is actually going to be a slow motion loop of the R99 just shooting in ADS without any recoil control and with no attachments. As you can see, the recoil is fairly large. It's a high magnitude of recoil in the vertical direction with a slight amount of semicircle to the right after the first 7 bullets or so. Fortunately, the recoil is fairly easy to control because it is so vertical in nature. If you just pull down on a thumbstick or on your mouse, you're going to be getting the majority of the recoil control you need because you won't be using this at extremely long ranges anyways. But now I'm actually going to swap over to a diagram I created to compare the level of recoil reduction you get with different barrel stabilizers. So a big mistake that a lot of other R99 guides or websites make about the recoil control is that they give you a spray pattern that is easy to see but doesn't actually give you insight as to how far away they were shooting the gun when they took the picture. So what I did was I actually stood 25 meters away. I accurately measured this using the ping system, and I fired at a wall with different barrel stabilizers. So the white's going to be none, gray level 1, blue level 2, purple level 3, and that's how I'm showing the difference in the recoil reduction with the barrels. Also, to make it more applicable and realistic, I actually put the Mirage decoy right next to the wall when I was taking the screenshots, just to give you a sense of scale as to how much the recoil is going to kick when you're shooting at a human-sized target at 25 meters. And as you might have guessed, obviously having a barrel stabilizer is going to help you in this game. This isn't Call of Duty, where some barrels will actually make your performance worse. every level barrier stabilizer above 0 is going to give you better performance. I was definitely surprised at how much the level 1 decreases your recoil compared to the level 2 or level 3. And as you can see, the greatest reduction comes from just equipping the level 1 barrel. And so if you do have the choice of equipping the level 1 or a level 2 on your different guns, it's probably not as beneficial to put it on an R99 compared to something like a Spitfire. So you can get the most bang for your buck by having the level 1 on the R99 and having the level 2 on something that requires more horizontal and vertical control. And if you guys are enjoying the video so far and are learning something useful, could you please do me a huge favor and go ahead and like the video, because this is allowing me to show YouTube that a small content creator like myself is able to make quality content that can compete with larger YouTubers. Now that we've covered the ADS recoil, I want to really quickly go over how the R99 hipfire works. And as you guys may or may not know, not all of the weapons actually follow the reticle cone, and so normally in games like in Call of Duty, your hipfire is going to be in that random cone of where your reticle is, or in this game, some weapons actually do follow a predictable hipfire pattern, and the R99 is actually one of them. So swapping over back to the firing range here, you're going to see that as I'm hip firing this stock R99, it's actually more or less mirroring the ADS pattern, albeit in a more randomized pattern, but it's not actually a cone. It's simply like a vertical line in the middle of the reticle. That's why hipfire is actually really powerful in close range, because now you're moving at 100% mobility, while at the same time, you're actually pretty accurate and can predict where the bullets are going to go. And at the same token, this now offers an explanation of why if an enemy might be within those crosshairs, but you're actually still not able to hit him because you're not following the predictive hipfire spread of the gun. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to reload speed. And so let's take a look at how fast the R99 reloads when using the different types of light magazines. Quick note, the number on the left is the amount of time it takes to reload not from empty, and the right number is reloading from empty, and that's not taking into account the animation, just the amount of time it takes you to get from 0 bullets to the max capacity. So this is taken into account as if you were canceling your reload by switching your weapon. And do note that the level 1 magazine, regardless of the weapon type, will not do anything to increase your reload speed, only the magazine size. And do note that with the R99, you're only getting modest increases in magazine capacity with each step of the magazine. So if you're using something like a G7 and an R99 and you only have one level 1 mag, it might make more sense just to give it to the G7, which gets a 50% increase to its base magazine size compared to the 10% of the R99. So finally, I'm going to jump into some mobility stats. With the aim down sight time, this game has pretty fast aim down sight times for most of the guns, and so it's not really a huge issue, but do note that with a stock, you do get benefits to the ADS. So pretty much with every level of the stock, you get a 10 millisecond reduction to your ADS time, and remember, lower is better with this one. So you start with a base ADS speed of 130 milliseconds, and this can go all the way down to a flat 100 milliseconds, which is pretty darn fast. Moving on to sprint out time, it's going to be 150 milliseconds, so this is pretty fast, and that's the time it takes you to go from a full sprint to firing your weapon. And finally, we have ADS strafe speed, and this is going to be at 85%, so this is measuring how fast you're moving while ADS compared to as if you weren't. And these numbers are pretty standard for all the SMGs in the game. So now that all the hard stats are out of the way, I want to go ahead and give some recommendations for what I think are great pairings with the R99. And this is something you might be able to answer just for yourself, because as you know, the R99 is a fantastic weapon and can be paired with almost anything to good effectiveness. A strategy I found, especially in endgame scenarios, is to use two 99s, because you can hose people with one 99 without much fear of missing, quickly swap to the next 99 and continue to hose them, because they'll think you only have one 99, but actually you have two. So you're definitely going to get a knock with that. The only downside of this is that you might need a little bit more ammo, and so that'll have less room for consumables and throwables, which can be very important in the end game. And with that, that's going to go ahead and wrap up my very first weapon masteries video in Apex Legends. If you made it this far and you enjoyed the entire thing, go ahead and like the video and subscribe, because I try to make videos like this every single week, and you definitely do not want to miss the next installment. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.